Well, guess what? We are back for another edition of Bolton In, all thanks to Palmerbet. And I tell you what, I thought we were all going to be in the tops and the jumpers and everything. And I know that this man, at the Fairningham, they rolled out the red carpet after he tipped Lindemann at $11 as the best bet, best each way bet around the country last week. Chris Roots, Rootsy, mate, Fairningham, you are live at the Stewards Tower or something now. What's going on, big fella?
So we do this on a Wednesday afternoon. I've come out to Canterbury for the inquiry into Adam Hieronymus, which has been held over to Saturday now. And unfortunately, I grabbed the computer and had to run down here. I'm in an office at the ATC. You can see the Canterbury in all its glory behind me when they used to get people to the races. That's fantastic. And, I think it just went to according to script, didn't it? Nash went to the front, controlled, and in Nash we trusted.
Oh, absolutely magnificent. And adds and Laura, Fairningham, he's burst onto the scene at Palmerbet and the Bolton In podcast with a $11, $12 winner. You can't get much better than that, Ads, can you?
No, you can't. I think I said to Chris privately, or in our group at least, centimetre perfect. And there's nothing more I love. It doesn't matter who you back or what you do. If you can tell me how the race is going to go and then it does that, I don't care if you win by an inch. And Chris said it exactly how it was. Said get the lead easy, dictate, trust Nash in front, and should just hold on. And I mean, it was a whisker, but it went exactly like that. I followed him in, so I was a very happy man. I was yelling his name around Vegas as well.
Chris Roots, what are we going? Who is this bloke? Is he the new quarterback for the LA Rams or something?
They need something.
Hey, Laws, what about our man Adam McGrath? They're calling him the Western Australian. What are they, the Perth Basher? What are the Belmont Basher?
I've been called a lot.
Tipped us into $1.28 and ended up in the end, mate. But you know what I always say, a win is a win, so I don't care, Laura, do we?
Yeah, exactly. I was actually had a quick trip away over the weekend, but the group chat was going off, so I was getting all the updates by you lot. So yeah, it was very entertaining anyway.
I think it was like 12-1 if you put it into Lindemann.
Yeah, good call, clever. Hey, listen, let's recap the Makybe Stakes Group 1 last week. A magnificent victory for Mine Barracuda. Great ride by Benny Allen. He just kind of sat back. He had to wait, and the gaps opened up for him. And that horse really put him away, didn't he, Ads?
Yeah, well, thankfully I tipped this horse as well with my $1.24 Rock Legacy. Otherwise,
Yes.
I wouldn't be showing my face. But look, when we sort of talked about it and I mentioned, I thought there was probably 6 or 7 horses that could win this race. Went with what we knew, and we know Barracuda at this track now, 4 from 4, absolutely loves it. I think the ride deserves a lot of credit. There's been a few people who've just been like, oh, great win, this and that. I mean, if you go back and solely watch Barracuda, they are very lucky they didn't come down around the bend. I was obviously watching it, knowing I'd backed it and was on it. And I was looking and I was hands in hair, pulling stuff. And then just the way that they're able to compose, go again, zigzag through. I thought it was a super impressive performance. I'm looking forward to seeing where this horse goes. I mean, you take nothing away from a Group 1 winner. That is a Group 1 horse in a Group 1 race, but a Moonee Valley specialist. I'm intrigued to see how they go now in some other races they target moving forward. But for mine, sensational victory, really good win, picked itself up, went again. Love the performance.
Chris, 4 from 4 at Moonee Valley. You would think Manikato would have to be on the menu, wouldn't it?
And they've mentioned the Everest as well. Some of us can't pull our hair out; it's already gone, Adam. Thanks for that. It was a brilliant ride because he just got into a position and then it was bouncing off Rothfire coming to the turn, and there was about 4 or 5 that were all travelling really well coming to the turn, and it was the matter of which one got the hole, and the hole presented itself straight in front of Barracuda. But it's one thing the hole presenting it; the other thing is going through and just accelerating like it did, and on the line he was taking hold of it. That's how quickly accelerated and how easy the win was. So he's probably got to step up again and show that he can do it again to get an Everest slot. But I'm sure Troy and the boys will they'll want to be at Randwick in October for the 20 million.
Hey, Laws, I love Benny Allen, one of my favourite jocks. The grin and the smile as that horse crossed the line must be a great feeling, I reckon.
Oh yeah, he's like you said, he's DJing on the side. He's got a very good life outside of racing, and probably why he comes to the track and races so well because he's got that outlet on his dad's farm, even near Pakenham, and doing a few bits and bobs. But he's definitely a character of racing, isn't he? Like you said, his post-race interview is always quite funny and yeah, it was a good watch. And you can just see in those Group 1 races, like they're just so competitive, obviously, but the way that they ride, how tight they are, like Adam said, it was 1 inch moving and it could have been a different story. And he got the splits at the right time and finished it off. He didn't even hit the horse once. He was just steering his way through and biding his time. And yeah, it's just centimetre to centimetre and they're bumping each other. And you just don't see races like that until you get to that Group 1 level sometimes. And yeah, it's always a really good watch and even better one for the good guys.
Hey,
Matty,
listen.
just on that really quickly as well,
Yeah.
you talked about Benny Allen, and I just think it's a really good time at the moment in these Group 1s that we've got. We know our normal jocks will win, but we've seen Benny Allen and Ethan Brown step away for a little bit, both come back, and I just love the way they're both riding. They've had that Group 1 success. Look, there's no handing over the baton yet. The old boys have still got it covered, but just great to see both these boys come through. I think they bring a different energy. They've both got different lives outside of racing, and I love what they bring to the sport as well. So I think it's great to see these two succeeding at the moment.
Could not agree more. And I actually had this comment with a couple of people yesterday talking about how good, in particular in Victoria, the riding ranks are at the moment. They are so strong. It is so competitive, and there are some great young kids coming through, both female and male. I think it's really exciting. And Laws, I know you're pretty close with a lot of them. It's just really in a great position at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know about what Chris Roots will think of this comment, but I think we're taking over from Sydney nearly. Like the multitude of jockeys that we have down here, is just, yeah, like you said, it's just going from one level to another and quite rapidly. And it just goes to show because a lot of the apprentices are doing really well, but a lot of them can't get rides either because there's just the competitive nature of it all and a lot of really good jockeys because the multitude of it, they're sort of heading to the bush and you're getting Group 1 jockeys sort of riding at Warrnambool yesterday. There would have been 10, 15 Group 1 winning jockeys at Warrnambool. So it's very, very competitive across the board. Just goes to show what the apprentice and the apprentice coaches are doing with the young ones and bringing them up and just across the board when it's competitive like that, everybody else has to step up and that's exactly what they're doing.
Alfie Matthews and Darren Gauci doing a magnificent job. Ruta, do we have to bring back, big fella, the old state of origin, New South Wales versus Victoria or something in a little bit of a jockey's challenge, do you think?
Yeah, I would still say that there's there at the top of Victoria. I think there's 3 or 4 who compete at the same level. Like James is just so far ahead of them in Sydney of everyone in Australia. I think he's on another level. But when you've got Frosty Lane, Blake Shin, Craig Williams, yeah, it's a case that if you throw the colours into the thing, you'd be pretty happy with any one of those 3 picking them up. And then you've got the next tier that are quickly closing on them. And in Sydney, we've got Tommy Berry, we've got Nash, we've got those that they're the sort of second level behind James. So it's that. We're very well served with riders in Australia, and it's just a pity we don't get to see them compete on the same day all the time now.
Yeah, it's even this weekend, isn't it? Like J-Max come down to Melbourne this weekend. He's obviously, missing a few rides back up in Sydney. Chris, I want to ask you, treasure the moment from a news point of view. It was a big story earlier on in the week, wasn't it? A slight bout of colic. Fingers crossed, and by all accounts, Matt Laurie's saying that this horse has recovered okay and pressing on towards a Cox Plate, which is really good news. Have you got any update there?
No updates, but the way they're talking is that they got it early. But I really don't like setbacks in preparations, especially with these really good horses, because you need to be at your top of your game when you're taking on these other top line horses. And even if she was there on the weekend, I think she would have been favourite, but I would have been backing something else.
Yeah. Interesting. It's going to be a really interesting couple of weeks for mine, and I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be so much to play out, and who goes where, and do they push on with Via Sistina to a Cox Plate? There's going to be so many talking points. The Everest final field, it's going to be unreal. Let's turn our attention now to the other Group 1 of the weekend. Of course, Makybe Diva Stakes, Flemington race. So only the 6 runners accepting. And the Palmerbet market, Via Sistina is their favourite, $1.95. Magnificent first up. Aliana is the second favourite, $3.70. Mr. Brightside at $5.50 was enormous first up. Antino at $6.50. Tommy Kitten at $12. And Mark Twain, the outsider, at $126. Ads, I'm coming back to you to get your thoughts on the Makybe Diva. It's going to be a real tactical race, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I would have been going Treasure at the moment. I'm probably opposite Chris. I thought if it was in, it wins. Simple as that. Would have been my best bet of the day. So at the moment it came out, changed the race dramatically for mine. I've gone with Via Sistina in the end. I said here on the podcast, and I mentioned to a few others, that I thought if she was going to get beat, the first up, 1,400 on a heavy 10, I thought she may just be slightly vulnerable. And the way that she held Aliana to the line, who I think is better in the wet, I think was a really good sign. And for mine, I just think now, second up, she's had 7 starts for 3 wins and 2 seconds. There's a bit of rain around, but it's only going to be a soft track, maybe a soft 5. I think it'll still be a good 4, but she's got a good record on soft conditions as well. So for mine, she gets through that a lot better. I just think the conditions match better for her. And then as well, you need to take in the speed map. And there's not a lot of speed in this race. That'll talk about my value bet in a second. But for mine, she's got the best turn of foot. She's going to be camped and poised and ready to go. And I think she can let down the best over a mile. So for mine, she's the one to beat. The value bet, I mean, exactly what Chris just said. I don't like interruptions in a preparation. And for mine, I was wanting to find Tom Kitten, but not running that last start again for mine. When things don't go to plan, you just sort of have to alter your plans because, as Chris said, they're so finely tuned. You can't have a little setback there. And then doing the speed map as well, I had a look at it, and the horse that impressed me last time, Mr. Brightside, I looked at it and went, you know what, there's no pride of Jenny this time. There's no pressure coming from the outside. There's no chasing. He's not doing the donkey work for once. This is something we actually haven't seen for a long time. And I wish he hadn't have drawn one, but I still think he'll find the front. From there, he finds that he dictates, Craig lets him roll, and all of a sudden they have to get past him. And I thought that first up run just showed he was back. I was only a year ago was saying this was the best miler in the country, went to Sha Tin. You've only got to look at the record, 22 starts over the mile for 12 wins, 5 seconds as well. So very, very impressive. And I just think the way that this sets up in a small field, Brightside can run a really big race and be hard to beat. So Via Sistina will be my best. Mr. Brightside will be the one they've got to get past, and I think he'll make it really hard for them.
Yeah, Mr. Brightside certainly returned sensationally well. Chris Roots, will come to you now. What's your thoughts on the Makybe Diva Stakes?
Well, I totally agree with Adam that there's no pressure in this race. Like, if you go through them, who is going to take it up? And Mr. Brightside took it up, can take it up. Do they push the button on Aliana or Via Sistina and put them into the race? Because horses like it and Antino, they all sit back and use their strength and sprint. I'm a big fan of Aliana. I backed it when it won the Carbine Club Stakes. And the Carbine Club Stakes is the first race at the Flemington Carnival. And it was over in about 2.5 strides. It just got to the centre and you were just counting the money. It was fantastic. You know, and I can't get that out of my mind. I think at a mile, second up, I think she's going to be pretty dynamic. And I've just got a little doubt on Via Sistina. I think if this is the race that she's vulnerable in out of all the races that going forward, after this, she gets to 2,000 metres, she goes to a Turnbull, she goes to a Cox Plate. That's her wheelhouse. I think even though Aliana's won a Derby, I think it's got a big enough turn of foot that it might get past Via Sistina and make it very hard for her. The other horse I put in as the value. I think Antino will run a better race than last time. I think he takes a run or two to find his best. I think he can. I think Blake has shown in the past that he'll take the initiative with this horse. Remember the Toorak when he went around them and made it a long sprint. Now, if he makes it a long sprint, the only thing I'd say is there are probably horses that are a lot stronger at 2,000 metres than him that will camp on his back and come over the top of him. He's not running a Toorak field. He's racing the best race where 8 horses in the country. But I just think he'll run a lot better. And, of course, Via Sistina will be there. But I've just got a feeling this is Aliana's race. This will be the Group 1 she can win during the carnival where she's not at a disadvantage to Via Sistina.
Chris, I just want to ask you because you had a little bit of mail on this earlier. So J-Mac was coming down to ride Aliana, and then obviously Via Sistina, Noms. So like that's a pretty good sign for mine, don't you think? Like,
yeah. Well, when I spoke to James on Monday, and I said, "Why are you going to Melbourne?" And because if you look at his book in Sydney, you would have had Autumn Glow, Jolly Star, Autumn Boy, Wotan. They're all probably Group 1 winners in waiting, and he probably wants to keep on them. And he said, Chris Waller just said to me a couple of weeks ago, you're going to Melbourne. So that was a sign that Chris thought he could win this race and thought he had the right horse, and that was going to be Aliana. So when you put all that together, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that he got back on Via, because Via's been his superstar. But do you lose much with Damian Lane? And would Damian Lane like to put one over James McDonald? You bet your bottom dollar he would. So I think you'll find that really interested me, and James was very confident he would have beaten Credit at the moment if it was there anyway.
Yeah, well, there you go. Laws, are you in the Via Sistina camp, or are you thinking more Eliana, or are you thinking Mr. Bright? Are you thinking someone outside the top two faves in the market?
No, yeah, my best bet is Via Sistina. And what a great problem to have, J Mac of all these.
That's amazing.
Which one did you ride? But yeah, just like the boys said, it's a small field, tactical field, possibly because there is no speed in the race, so it will be interesting. But I tried to find anything against Via Sistina that wasn't in her favor, and I just couldn't find too much. So hence why I've popped her on top, although she had to dig deep last start, and it will be a really interesting contest. I can't wait to watch the race between those two that matched up last time at Randwick of Chris Waller's horses. But yeah, I think Via Sistina will still have the upper hand. Hopefully every time I go against whatever Chris says is always the opposite, but it'll be a really good matchup. And my value bet is same as Adams, Mr. Brightside. He's never run a bad race at Flemington in nearly 4 or 5 years when I was looking through his form. Loves Flemington, loves the 1600, ran enormous last start as we've seen, and yeah, speed map suits him. Like Adam said, I think he can possibly go forward, have it on his own terms. And although I think he is a better horse chasing something with those blinkers on this time, yeah, I don't think it'll make much of a difference. He knows where he's at his home track at Flemington, and yeah, he's my value bet.
Love it. So you and Ads exactly the same this week. Well, Chris, I'm going to get you up and about because I've gone, and it just stuck in my head when I spoke to you early on in the week that Eliana, J-Mac was coming down. So I'm happy to be playing around Eliana, and I reckon Frosty is flying, and you're right. I reckon he'll want to get one up on J-Mac, and I reckon if there is a race, I agree with you, Chris. I reckon this is the one that Via Sistina might be vulnerable. And Mr. Brightside, for everything that Laws and Adam have said, best 1600 metre of the horse. I reckon just showed that that horse has come back magnificent. No pride of Jetty. Great points, Ads. I reckon, like just he's had to do that lag up work, or the donkey work, as you said, to bring every other horse into the race. So yeah, he might just get a dream run and have last crack and just be the one steaming home over the top. Righto. Let's go out wide. I'm going to come back to you, Laura Lafferty. Where else are we having a bet around the country this weekend?
I've gone to Donald's race 3, American Gas of Sunflowers. Ultra consistent. It's been a bridesmaid all its last 7 starts, bar last start when it broke its maiden. And yeah, last prep was running in town, so he will, he's well below his best grade on Saturday at Donald. He's not at his ideal trip yet, but I think he can continue his winning streak after breaking his maiden at Warrnambool. I think they'll just go through the grades this prep with him, and yeah, he ran a couple of enormous races last prep, so hopefully he can run consistent again at Donald on Saturday. Flemington race 1, number 18, Rich Dotty of Graham Beggs, loves Flemington, loves it down the straight, and has had 3 trials leading into his first up run. So yep, they're my others.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's go to the Belmont Basher. What do you got for us, Ads?
We'll go with race 4, number 12, Antique Star. Now, I'm just going to say, make sure you check your numbers with these because jockeys haven't even been confirmed yet at time of recording. So race 4, number 12, Antique Star. Clint Johnson Porter has ridden Noble Connection the last 5 starts for 3 wins and a second. He jumps off to ride this mare. William Pike jumps on the other one, and Antique Star gets about a 4.5 kilo lighter in this race. So I think it'd be very hard to beat. And then race 5, number 4, Cosmic Crusader, also for Bob Peters, also for Michael Grantham and Clint Johnson Porter. This is a horse they want to get to the railway. They probably need to win their next 3 if they're going to do so. Another match race in this event with William Pike. He'll ride Smooth Movers. So they're my 2 individual bets, but if you want to do a double, race 4 and race 5, just back CJP and William Pike in both races. I think either will win both, so you can do a double there as well.
I love it, mate. I tell you what, he is the best of the business out west, that is for sure. Chris Roots, what are we going this week, mate? Lindemann at a beautiful price last week for the Palmer Bet followers.
Yeah, and I've sort of looked around this week, and I thought in the first race on Saturday, there's a horse called Mondiala. It's been to the highest levels of racing at its last couple of preps. It comes back, it gets into midway grade, but I think it can run a really good race first up. Generally, it might need the run, but I think it's the right price to have a bet. So race 1, number 6, Mondiala. I think Autumn Boy will win race 6, which is the Ming Dynasty, and it's not usual that the Ming Dynasty winner is will be the Golden Rose favourite, but I think he will be after this. I think he's an outstanding 3-year-old, and he'll stamp himself as the one to beat in the Golden Rose. And just out wide, I think race 7, number 6, Spicy Martini. Now this horse won the Fred Best in the autumn, in the winter, and she's a very nice little sprinting horse. I don't know if she can beat Jolly Star, but $4.80 the place is a really good bet. And not often do I say bet place only, but you can maybe 1 by 4 on her, and she'll do the job for you.
Oh, I do like a little Spicy Martini too, Chris. So fingers crossed might get the job done on the weekend. I'm sticking Flemington, and I'm sticking horses that are in form, I reckon, at the moment. And I really like Tycoon Star, race 2, number 2. Its 2 runs this prep have been enormous for mine. Good win, 1 from 1 at Flemington. Race 7, number 4, Revelair. Decky Bates rode this a treat last start. Ryan Hurdle, he would be absolutely spewing, I'm tipping. But
stiff, isn't he?
He's stiff, mate. Yeah, I reckon this is a serious racehorse. Really got challenged last start and found, and wants to find the line. So no massive price. I think they're about $3 and $2.80. And one a bit of V will be race 10, number 2, Deacon, on a path towards a Melbourne Cup. And I reckon this horse goes all right in 1700. Second up, it has got some second up stats, and might be a nice little each way play. Download the Palmer Bet app. You can get involved as well. And I reckon we need to get your tips, you three, up on this Palmer Bet app each and every week, in particular over the next couple of weeks. That is for sure, because you are all going sensationally well. It is going to be a fantastic weekend again this weekend. Ads, as we say, a goodbye to you from Las Vegas. What's on for you for the weekend, mate?
Not much this weekend. I've actually got the weekend off. So I'm meeting a friend's baby, and then I've got another friend coming in from San Diego. So no work, which is nice.
I like it. Laws, will you be heading to the races this weekend, or what are you doing?
Not heading to the races, but I'll be sitting at home in front of the TV this week. The last couple of weeks I've ducked away for a quick trip away. So no, I'll be eyes locked on the TV at home.
Oh, I reckon I know where this bloke's going to be. Rosehill Saturday afternoon for you, Chris.
Yep, I'll be at Rosehill. I went to the Eureka last week for the trots and saw John Hawkes and the family there cheering their horse on. So back at the track, and let's hope we can find a winner.
No, absolutely. Download that Palmer Bet app. Get involved. As we always say, think, is that the bet you really want to have? Hey, legends, we'll talk next week.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.